You know, when you take your car in, you get that repair bill. It's not just the parts or
Not
anything.
at all. A big slice of that is usually the labor cost.
And it's kind of wild how much that can change. Like, you could be in Vermont or maybe over in New Jersey, and the hourly rate is just different.
It really is. We actually got hold of this really interesting breakdown from Shop Officer.
Oh, yeah, that's it cover.
It's called State-by-State Breakdown of Auto Repair Labor Rates. And, well, that's basically what we're going to dive into today. Okay?
Okay.
Think of it as trying to understand why those numbers are what they are. We're sort of on a mission here to unpack it all.
The variations, the factors behind that.
Exactly. And hopefully give you a bit more insight for, the next time you're looking at an estimate.
Because those numbers, they definitely tell a story. We're talking about things like the cost of living in an area.
Great.
Or maybe there's a shortage of good mechanics.
That's a big one, too.
And like how many other garages are nearby, the competition, plus just the basic costs of, keeping the lights on in a repair shop.
Oh, those overheads. Yeah.
So we're going to try and connect those dots, see how these things make the rates different from state to state.
And the idea is to help you be a more informed car owner, but also maybe appreciate what goes into running these businesses.
Yeah, it's not just about maybe saving money, although that's nice.
Right? It's also understanding the whole picture, the economics behind it, the challenges shops face trying to set a fair price. Let's get into it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to ShopTalk, the podcast where auto repair pros get real insights to grow smarter, run smoother, and boost profits. Okay, so let's maybe look at some actual numbers then. What does this Shop Officer breakdown show? Like maybe start in the Northeast.
Sure. So in the Northeast, you see a bit of a range, as you'd expect. Vermont, for instance, is listed around $127 an hour.
Okay, $127.
But then you look at New Jersey, it's more like $138.50. And Pennsylvania is even a bit higher, $139.66.
Huh. So even within the same region, there's a noticeable difference. Vermont to Pennsylvania, that's like what, a $12, $13 gap per hour?
Exactly. And geographically, they're not
Right.
that far apart. So that difference even within the Northeast probably points to some very local stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe commercial rent costs, maybe just the going rate for skilled trades in general. It varies more than you might think.
Interesting. Okay, what about the Midwest?
The Midwest gets even more varied. You've got Ohio listed at about $136.
Right, $136 in Ohio.
But then head over to, say, South Dakota or Nebraska.
Yeah.
Both of them are up around 147 cents. South Dakota, 147.27. Nebraska, 147.40.
Wow. Okay. That's a significant jump from Ohio, over $10 an hour more.
It is. And the Midwest is such a mix. Big cities, lots of rural areas. So maybe those higher rates in South Dakota and Nebraska signal a tighter market for technicians, fewer skilled people available so they can command a higher wage.
Could be. Or maybe just the cost of running a shop are different out there. Less population density.
Possibly. Different overheads, different local economies. It's complex.
Okay, let's head south then. What are we seeing there?
Well, Maryland comes in around $100.41.
Okay, $141.30.
But then, look at Alabama and Mississippi. They're actually higher. Alabama's at $149.58, Mississippi $151.67.
Now that feels a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? You might generally assume costs are lower in some parts of the South.
That's a really good point. It shows you can't just paint everything with the same brush based on, broad cost of living assumptions.
So why would Alabama and Mississippi be higher in this case? Any ideas?
Could be several things. Maybe fewer shops specializing in certain repairs. Maybe business insurance rates are higher there for some reason. It just underlines how specific market factors can really shape these rates, sometimes in ways you wouldn't initially guess.
Okay, fascinating. What about out west?
Out west, Hawaii is listed at $136.74, which is interesting, island state economics.
Yeah, about the same as Ohio.
Right? But then you look at Colorado and Alaska. They're both listed at $148.66, and Wyoming is even higher, $151.18.
So Colorado, Alaska, Wyoming, all up there near the top end we've seen so far.
Pretty much, yeah. And the article rightly points out that within those states, if you're in a major city, those rates are probably going to be even higher.
Right. Denver or Anchorage versus a smaller town.
Exactly. Think about the distances too out
Yeah.
west. Getting parts might cost more. logistics are tougher.
And maybe a premium on skills in less populated areas.
Could definitely be part of it. And yeah, cities always have higher rents, higher operating costs, pushing those rates up.
So, okay, we've seen this variation across the map. Northeast, Midwest, Southwest.
Yeah,
Rates are all over the place.
they really are.
Let's dig into the why a bit more. The shop officer piece mentions key factors, right? Like starting with the basic cost of living.
That's a fundamental one, yeah. They mentioned California and New York as examples of high-cost places. We have the New York rate here, around $135.
$135.
And 19 cents, yeah.
And it just makes sense. If it costs your technicians more to live, rent, food, everything, the shop has to pay them more.
And that gets passed on in the labor rate?
It has to, really, to keep good people. It's just economic reality filtering down. Okay, what else? You mentioned technician shortages earlier. That seems like a recurring thing.
It really does. We hear about it all the time, the need for skilled auto techs. And this article suggests, yes, shops often have to pay more to attract and keep talent.
Especially if the shortage is bad in their specific area.
Precisely. If you're a shop owner and there aren't many experienced mechanics around, you're going to have to make your offer attractive.
Higher wages, maybe better benefits.
Right. And often the labor rate is how they fund that, which ultimately should mean better quality work for you, the customer.
Makes sense. Then there's local competition. Just how many other shops are around?
Yeah, basic supply and demand almost. If there's a garage on every block, they might need to keep prices sharper to compete.
More competitive pricing, maybe lower rates.
Potentially. But if you're in a town with only one or two decent shops, well, they might have a bit more flexibility on what they charge, less direct pressure.
Right. And the last big factor they mentioned was shop overheads, the cost of just running the place.
Can't forget that. Rent is a huge one, especially in prime locations. Utilities, insurance.
And the tools. Modern cars need some serious diagnostic gear.
Oh yeah, we're talking expensive equipment. High-end scanners can cost tens of thousands, plus ongoing software updates. These are real significant costs.
So all that rent, insurance, tools, utilities, that baseline cost varies by location too, and it has to be covered by the labor rate.
Absolutely. It sets the floor in a way you have to charge enough to cover all that before you even think about profit or paying technicians competitive wages.
So bringing it all together, how do these varying rates impact the actual repair businesses? And then how does that flow through to us, the customers?
Well, for the shop, the labor rate is obviously critical for their profit margin.
That is same business.
Exactly. If they set it too low, they can't cover costs, can't invest in training or equipment, might not even survive.
But if they set it too high?
They risk pricing themselves out of the market. Customers might go elsewhere, so it's this constant balancing act.
And it ties back into keeping good staff too, right? You need that rate to support decent wages.
Definitely. If a shop can't charge a sustainable rate, they probably can't afford to pay top dollar for experienced techs.
And then those techs might leave?
Which leads to maybe longer wait times for you or potentially less experienced people working on your car. So, a fair labor rate supports technician retention. And that directly impacts the quality of service you get. It's really an investment in expertise.
Now, from our side, the customer side,
Yes.
sometimes you see that labor charge and just, well, gulp.
Understandable.
But the article mentions this idea of perceived value. Like, if the service is fast, the mechanics seem really knowledgeable, the repair holds up, maybe we feel better about paying a higher rate.
I think that's absolutely true. It comes down to transparency and communication.
How so?
If a shop takes the time to explain what they're doing, why it costs what it does, highlights the skill of their team, the quality parts, you're more likely to see the value behind the number.
So it's not just an hourly charge, it's what you get for that hour.
Precisely. Peace of mind, a reliable fix, efficient service, good communication can really justify the cost.
That kind of leads into efficiency, doesn't it? And technology. The shop officer article talks about shop management software. How does that fit in?
That software is actually a really big piece of the puzzle for modern shops. It helps them be way more efficient.
In what ways?
Well, for one, it lets them track time accurately, so they know exactly how many billable hours went into your specific repair. No guesswork.
Okay, so ensuring accurate billing.
Yes. And it streamlines everything else too, making estimates, sending invoices, ordering parts, scheduling.
Here?
It automates a lot of the admin work.
Which frees up the technicians to actually fix cars.
Exactly that. Less time on paperwork, more time with wrenches and diagnostic tools. It helps the whole operation run smoother.
So that efficiency, driven by tech, means the labor time you are paying for is being used more effectively.
That's the goal. Yeah, better use of time, potentially faster turnaround for you, the customer, and it helps the shop manage its costs better, which supports setting fair, accurate labor rates. Plus, clear digital estimates and invoices build trust.
So technology isn't just about fixing the car, it's about running the business efficiently, which can help justify the labor costs through better service.
Well put. Efficiency and transparency supported by technology can demonstrate value.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. If you're running a shop, trying to land on the right labor rate,
Yeah.
what are the big takeaways from this? And for us as customers, what should we keep in mind?
For shop owners, I think this breakdown really drives home a few key things. First, know your market. You have to understand what competitors are charging locally, not just look at state averages.
Right, that local context is crucial.
Second, know your costs, all of them. Rent, utilities, insurance, tools, wages, everything. You need that baseline to figure out a sustainable rate.
Don't guess, calculate.
Exactly. Third, focus on value, not just price. Communicate your expertise, the quality you provide, maybe your quick turnaround times. Give customers reasons to choose you beyond just the hourly rate.
And the technology piece.
And fourth, use technology like shop management software to be more efficient, more accurate, and provide a better, more transparent experience.
Okay. And for us, the listeners, when we see that labor charge on the bill,
I think the main thing is to remember, it's not arbitrary. That number reflects a whole bunch of factors. The cost of skilled labor in your area, the shop's overheads, the local competition.
Sure, all the stuff we talked about.
Right. It's complex, and don't be afraid to ask questions. A good transparent shop should be willing to explain the charges, talk about their tech certifications, the work being done.
So understanding the why behind the rate can help us feel more confident about the repair.
Definitely. It puts that number in context.
So next time you get that repair bill, maybe take a second look at the labor line. It's telling a bigger story than just hours worked.
It really is. It's a little window into the local economy and the auto service world right where you live.
This has been super insightful. It's amazing how many forces shape something as seemingly simple as an hourly repair rate.
It's definitely more complex than it looks on the surface. Hopefully this gives everyone, a bit more perspective next time.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought to chew on. As cars get even more complex, think electric vehicles, advanced driver assist systems, constant software updates.
Oh yeah, the technology curve is steep.
How is that going to change these labor dynamics? What new skills will mechanics need? And what might that mean for repair costs down the road for these really high-tech vehicles?
That's a huge question. The skills, the training, the diagnostic tools, it's all evolving rapidly. It'll definitely reshape the landscape.
Something to keep an eye on. Well, until our next episode, thanks for breaking
My
this
pleasure.
down. Thanks for tuning in to Shop Talk by Shop Officer. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend, a fellow mechanic, or shop owner, and follow for more real-world advice. Want to take your shop digital? Visit shopofficer.com to get started for free. Until next time, keep wrenching smarter.
1, 2,